So I ran out of memory. So here we are back again. Take two, Killarney National Park. There's the Deanoch River. Lots of people walking around the 26,000 acres here, all through the lovely paths and roadways through the national park. Hello, there's the Deanoch River. There we are, everyone having lots of fun. It makes a right angle bend down there. Lots of work done up here in the trees over the winter period. The people that work on the park here do so much. The daisies are all coming out. Bursting, spring is bursting forth. So here's Deanoch Lodge again, which should have opened yesterday as a cafe. But soon enough it will all be back to normal again. Another few weeks hopefully. We've flattened the famous curve. And there's the cathedral there. I've just done a lot of painting here to Deanoch Lodge recently as well. So it's going to be fresh as a daisy when it opens in a few weeks' time. So originally Hunting Lodge, but then it became the Gate Lodge. And this is the domain for the local people of Killarney. And up there was the old mansion, which burnt down in 1913. Heading down through the park here. That's the white blossom of cherry blossom. There's probably a better name for it than that. There's another lovely one up there. They've only just come out in the last couple of days. And the horse chestnut's just coming out. And you see the tree down there with the guy sitting down beside it and the children. That's complete hollow in the middle, and look, the children can go right into the tree and hide within the trunk of the tree. Lovely hiding place for the children of Killarney. And so the mansion was up there, and there are all sorts of little pathways heading up there, both for people but also the red deer graze and are all over this area, so they have their own little pathways through the woods as well. So there are the mountains in the background, and we're just going to head down here through the park. So before we go down any further, I just came into the woods. You can hear the sound of all the birds. Absolutely gone mad recently. This lockdown seems to be encouraging the explosion of nature. So I'm going to say very little now, and I'm on a deer path. You can see the really fresh dung there as well. So the red deer were coming through here fairly recently. And I'm just going to do a little bit of footage here so you can hear the sound of nature going through the woods. Wouldn't you love to be an animal living around here? There's the laurel and the sycamore. just coming up to the site of the old mansion. So these are the steps from way back in the 1870s, 80s. All the flowers coming out. So the mansion burnt down in 1913. But all the walls are the old garden walls from 20 or 30 years before that. All the old red brick. There's a huge amount of work being done here at the moment to get these gardens and old walls right back to the state they were in back in the 1800s. So this is where Queen Victoria came in 1861, August, and said, what a most beautiful site for a house. So they built the huge mansion here, costing £100,000 to build it and £100,000 to decorate it. And you see these rolling lawns and the way they come up and flatten again and up towards the house. It's like many of the beautiful old mansions had these lovely lawns in front of them. So that's where the mansion was. And since then, Beatrice Grosvenor built this house, the second last house she built, and that's called Knockreer, and that's where all the wonderful ecological courses take place for children. Yeah. And this is what she saw when she came up here. The mountains, Loch Lane down there, Ross Castle in the distance. The echoes and shadows of old Killarney. That site changes every 10 or 15 minutes, depending on the sun and the clouds. And it's just constant change, absolutely beautiful. So as you can imagine, it's a bit of a challenge for the gardeners around here, around Knockreer House, because all the deer graze here every night when there aren't any people around. So look, there's the old lawn and the old wall of the original house, and all the flowers coming into bloom. It's like our very own mansion up around here. So few people come up to Knockreer, and that was the main entrance coming in towards the house. And as you can see, I try and stay off the paths. Maybe I shouldn't, but I much prefer walking through the fields. Anyway, it's lovely and dry up here. See the way they're putting stakes around all the trees and a bit of sheep wire. That's to keep the deer from eating the bark, because early in the year, like now, the sap is rising fast up through the tree, so the bark is very delicious. So if they eat the bark right around the rim, the tree will die. They have all these little mud holes as well, the deer, and they have little friendly fights and everything in these mud holes, watery mud holes, which they love. Now that's the dairy cottage in there. There's a family living there, so I won't go any nearer. But in there, that's the dairy cottage. And actually General Charles de Gaulle spent 2 weeks holidays in the dairy cottage there, not long before he died. And look, just up near us here, little deer grazing in the shadow of the tree. That's the farmyard down there. Here we are, just behind the dairy cottage over there in the trees. A few red deer lying under the tree here. It's an absolutely beautiful day today. Weather forecast not so good for tomorrow, Easter Sunday. But not to worry, everyone's out having fun today and keeping their distance from each other so we don't spread this wretched virus. But look at that. Look how beautiful this is. Tomy's Mountain over there. There's a little deserted village. I was at about a year and a half ago. Up there in Tomy's Mountain. You have to go by boat at the moment and tie up your boat and climb for about 10 minutes up through the rhododendrons, and then you come to a clearing, and there's a deserted village. The rumor has it that way over in is it Fry's Glen, way over in the mountains over there, the landlord at the time wanted to rid the place of people, and he wanted it for his hunting away over there in the glens, and he moved everyone over here to this village, but you just couldn't live. There wasn't enough good land to grow anything, so they just had to desert it eventually. So there's Tomy's, and then you go over into the McGillicuddy Reeks over there to Carrantoola and Boinquera, the highest and the second highest mountains in Ireland. Look at the lovely old fencing here on the estate. Beautiful old iron fencing. Look at that for a view over Loch Lane, Inishfallen Island, Brown Island, Rabbit Island, and just the other side of those trees over there, you've got a 9-hole Castle Ross golf course, and then just the other side, you've got the beautiful O'Mahony's Point and Killeen, two beautiful 18-hole golf courses, and the fishing club as well. Lovely big horse chestnut tree. This is actually the loop walk. So you come up from Deanoch Lodge and down around there. Down at the bottom they walk back around. Lovely loop walk. It takes about maybe 45 minutes. So I'll shut up now and you can take in this beautiful scenery.